What's up, Ravens fans? Welcome into a live episode of For the Flock Rundown. I saw a bunch of comments that were requesting that we name the show that, so let's just call it that. I think it makes perfect sense. But what's up, guys? I'm Ryan here with Noah, and sorry to be here on these circumstances after that game yesterday. But we got some news to go over, but I guess we'll talk about the game first. So, how you feeling, Noah?
Hey, man. As you know, we were texting yesterday. Me and Ryan were texting yesterday, guys, during this game, and we were both like, bro, this is so frustrating. At one point, I even was like, hey, man, we got to move on from Harbs. Like, I was super frustrated, and we could talk about that later, but really, really frustrated with the way that game went, not only because of the referee stuff, right, with like the idea likely touchdown that was very obviously a touchdown. They called it a touchdown. They call it back. Yes, God is always good. Thank you for that.
Is he gone? You still hear me? What's up, Steve? Can you guys still hear me? Let me know. I don't know what just happened. Is Noah gone? Wait for him to get back in here. All right, you can hear me? All right. Cool. We will wait a second to see if Noah can come back in here. But yeah, brutal game yesterday. Tough loss. Frustrating loss. Terrible first half. Came back in the second half. Showed out in the second half, but not enough. Obviously fighting some resistance with the calls and all the game circumstances, but yeah, he disappeared like our defense does in big games. Yeah, in moments. DK got the best of us yesterday on the – and then how about Pittsburgh switching their entire offensive game plan? These guys go short, get it to DK quick, and then just, big guys in general, and then yesterday they're running go routes and hitting us downfield. And yeah, terrible pass rush. There's a lot of Noah's coming back. Sorry, he crashed. Just to update you guys. But yeah, no, I'm frustrated about yesterday's game, man. There's so many things. There's so many things to talk about in that game. O-line's topic of discussion. I've seen a ton of fans, talking about that for good reason. Both guards, man. We've been talking about this for 2 years, though. What's different? It sucks. We need to make a change, man. We need to make a change. Yeah, the Fa'alele hate has been aggressive. Oh, we got Noah back. What up, man?
My mic turned off and then my thing crashed there for a second. But
yeah, you're good. I was rambling all over the place trying to save time. But yeah, back to your thoughts.
Bro, what was I saying? So the frustrating part, right? Probably you're already talking about it, but it wasn't just the fact that Isaiah Likely, the touchdown that was a touchdown, then they called it back, right? It wasn't just the Aaron Rodgers reception they said he had possession of whenever he did not have possession of it. And it wasn't just the Travis Jones thing, like all those things the Ravens absolutely got hosed on, right? Here's the other thing. It's bad when a Steelers fan texts you, bro, and he's like, hey, I'm a Steelers fan, but, man, you guys got ripped today. The refs gave that one to Tomlin. I'm sorry that went down like that. Like, it's bad when you got Bengals fans texting you, Steelers fans texting you, like, bro, you guys got ripped. A lot of the pundits on national that covered the NFL were saying the Ravens got robbed of a win. It is true that the Ravens got robbed, but that wasn't the only frustrating part. The other frustrating part was, like, through the first half, we were sitting at like 3 points for a good part. We were also having offensive miscues. The offensive line was bad, and then we had some other issues as well. The defensive lapse where we let Jaylen Warren completely uncovered down the sideline. It was a combination of not only did we leave stuff out there on the field that we could have won, but we also got ripped by the refs that we could have won. It was like a multifaceted thing that if just one or two things went our way, we walk away sitting at 7-6, driver's seat of the AFC North, feeling really good. And but it didn't roll that way. So that's why it's so frustrating, man. And we're going to talk about it. You guys saw my video on my side of the stream was, are the Ravens cooked this season? Now, if they're not officially cooked, like if we were checking the temperature of the chicken and the chicken needed to be like a solid 165 degrees for it to be fully cooked, we're probably at like a 150. we're getting pretty close to being fully cooked, but we're not fully cooked because there's still 4 games left. The offensive performance showed life towards this, the second half of the game. They were sustaining drives. And then also Lamar Jackson looked like he was healthy at some of the burst back. So we're not fully cooked, but we are getting cooked. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
Yeah, definitely not fully cooked, and everything's weirdly right in front of us still. The what makes me not have confidence is like it's been in front of us, and we've had opportunity after opportunity against the division opponents at home, and we're not coming through. Like time and time again. Like we haven't really even had a big win. The biggest win, I guess, looking back this whole season has been Tyler Huntley against the Bears. Like I'm like looking at who we beat, and I'm like, we're not really beating anyone, like, and to struggle against the division is frustrating at home. We had a primetime game against the Bengals at home. We had the Steelers in a must-win game at home to take control of the division, and you're not showing up in those big moments. That's what's concerning me the most. All the struggles, with lack of pass rush, the offensive line, Lamar being hurt, Lamar not being prime version, struggling to get the run game going, like all of those struggles throughout the season we're able to overcome those little things if we just step up in a big moment and make things happen and play a complete football game. But the fact that we're not doing that on top of all those issues, that's what makes me like, but no, we're not cooked. I mean, we have 4 games left. And if the Steelers lose one, then we could lose one too. But we have 4 games left. And if we win all 4, and I know that's saying a lot, we got the Bengals, we got the Patriots, which we might as well just get into that now real quick, is flexed to Sunday Night Football. So
the NFL thought that would be a
it is a banger,
high-stake game.
And it's our last home game of the year because we got the Bengals on the road this week. We're going to have this game against New England at home Sunday night, which primetime has not been kind to us this year. We got and I wonder if they put this up if we're wearing black on white. Probably, right? Or I don't know. I don't know if they're just teasing that or if that's just the graphic they use. But anyway, we wore all black on Monday night against the Lions earlier in the season and got embarrassed in prime time at home, which I was not expecting. Usually we ball out, man. The energy is always different in prime time in Baltimore. And I was at the Bengals game, which was another primetime game last week or 2 weeks ago now at Thanksgiving. And, you're just not seeing the confidence. You're not seeing the guys play with as much. It's not even like effort. It's more about like, I feel like when anything goes wrong, it's like, oh man, here we go. Like maybe we're not that good. Like there's like that mental toughness to like overcome mistakes or play a complete football game. The Steelers were way more prepared to play in that first half. We had another slow first half in the game against Pittsburgh, and it's frustrating because how many slow halves have we had? The Jets game just a couple weeks prior to that come to mind. We had 70 offensive yards at halftime, and then we came to life in the second. They obviously didn't come to life, and we ended up kind of winning that game a lot easier. But in the Pittsburgh game, we had just as bad of a first half, and then we come to life in the second. But then you got to play absolutely perfect and maybe have to have some calls go your way to even come out with a win when you play so poorly in the first half. If we played a complete football game, then these ref calls or whatever we're talking doesn't even matter. And the ref calls were bad. I'm pissed about it. Like and I never I don't blame refs. I don't even think the NFL's rigged. I'm sure there's some bad seeds in every sport that rig things, but I just don't think the overall collective of it is. And it sucks to even talk about the refs in that game and as a reason that they won, but it is true. And the NFL even admitted this today. I don't know if you saw that or not in Harbaugh's press conference, but he said that the Travis Jones call was wrong. The NFL admitted that, which at surface level, somebody might be like, that's not a big deal. Well, I think it is, though, because
it's massive.
Yeah, they had 3. They made that field goal. That's 3 points. But since they called that unnecessary roughness, they end up getting a touchdown. So that's a 4-point swing. We lose by 5. If we were down 1, on that last drive, we only need 3, man. We only need a field goal.
Exactly.
Let's get in
and
range,
earlier,
get in range, and let's go. Let's go win.
Exactly, bro. And it wasn't there a drive before that where we were in the red zone and went for it on 4th down?
Well, that was the likely call where the drive right before. You mean earlier in the game?
Yeah. We wouldn't have needed to go for it on 4th down.
Yeah,
we could have kicked a field goal there, and then we could have drove down the field, kicked another field goal, and been up. So yeah, man. That actual anyone who says that isn't a big deal, the NFL blatantly just that one play. Like literally that one play could be the difference between whether or not the Baltimore Ravens make the playoffs or not. Like beating Pittsburgh swung the odds. They would have had a 70-something% chance of winning the division all the way down to 30% now. So it's massive, man. Like the Ravens would have kicked a field goal. They would have had 2 opportunities to kick field goals, instead have to drive down and try to score a touchdown to win the game. But that's just one aspect of it. It's not even as the Isaiah Likely touchdown, and it's not even the Aaron Rodgers thing where he fumbled and we would have had the ball at their 10-yard line, man. So
I don't get how he had possession of that either. One hand.
Yeah.
Teddy's got 2, Rodgers got 1, but he had possession. I don't care if the knee's down. That's not possession. But no, it's frustrating. But also, on the flip side, I'm not saying the Ravens played so great that they deserve to win the game without any other ref things, but it is annoying. It's a 3.
They did enough.
And especially I liked what I saw in the second half. It's just like, can we start that way? Can we play 2 complete halves and complementary ball too? There was a couple incidences in that game where, the defense was, I know they were letting up some big plays to DK, but they weren't completely folding early. And guess what? They let up 17 in the first half. Yeah, I mean, that's not great actually. And they didn't have a sack. But I just feel like the offense,
it would have been 13 if it wasn't for the Jones thing.
Oh yeah, and the pick. So we turned the ball over on offense, which puts so I mean, you got those scenarios, but I just didn't feel like the defense was awful in the first half. And then but the offense was. And then the second half, offense starting to come to life early in that third quarter. And then the defense lets up that big play to Warren. And I'm just like, dude, we got to play complimentary ball, man. You got to have each other's back. You know what I mean? Right. It just feels like we've been fighting this resistance all season. When anything starts to get going, and that's why I question that, that resilience in these moments, man, because it just seems like when things start to fall a little bit, you can't pick the pieces up enough. You can't get back. Yeah. Why is everything so difficult? You've been a Ravens fan for a long time. How many times have we heard Harbaugh say it's never easy, we always win the ugly way, or it's always the hard way? And it has been true. I mean, we have dominated, I guess, some regular season games, but I just feel like we're always making it so freaking difficult on ourselves to play clean. Just play a clean game.
Doesn't feel like we win a lot of the close games. Yeah. It's like we blow teams out or we lose the close.
We fumble it away. Yeah.
So, dude, I don't know, man. But I'll say this, as far as the playoff odds moving forward, okay? Tell me if you could see this scenario. All right, so week 15, the Ravens beat the Bengals. All right, week 16. Oh, and by the way, in this scenario, I have the Steelers beating the Dolphins. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Pittsburgh. Week 16, I have the Ravens beating the Patriots. This is the one that just got flexed. Sunday Night Football at the bank. It's a must-win. You got to win it, right? And then I have the Steelers losing to the Lions, which I think most people would suspect. The next week, week 17, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Browns, probably pretty likely. And then I have the Ravens losing to the Packers in Green Bay. All right. The following week, the Ravens beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh, and they are in that scenario we just went over. They are tied with the Steelers with a 9-8 record, but they would have the tiebreaker due to the conference record. That's why it's really important that the Ravens beat the Patriots.
We'd both be 10-7, right? Or no, yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm tripping out.
We'd both be 9-8.
We already got 7 losses. I can't believe how bad this season's going. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So the Ravens basically, like, if they win 4 of their next 5, and one of those wins is against Pittsburgh, they have a really, really high chance of winning the division. Or they could win 4 of their next 5, lose to Pittsburgh, and it wouldn't matter if Pittsburgh lost to, let's say,
Detroit,
the Dolphins, and the Browns. Pittsburgh would have to drop 2 games. So definitely, it's not over for the Ravens, right? Like the reality is the destiny is still in their own hands. If they win out, they're in.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important key. Like I totally could see the Steelers losing a game, like especially to Detroit. Like that's definitely possible. And then it takes pressure off. We can lose to Green Bay, but I've been saying, I said this last week too, and we still ain't doing it. But like, I'm waiting for that like momentum to start where the Ravens, like, you know how we were in the second half against Pitt, like play a complete game like that, and we're going to be tough to beat. And it's just we haven't done that all season. And it's like I'm waiting for that momentum to turn. And I think if we have any shot of like going on any type of real run in the playoffs, if we make the playoffs, I just think we got to win these next 4. We got to get hot and just start rolling, man. And then that primetime one at the bank is huge. I mean, it's a game. If we beat Cincy this week, it is a game to like right all the wrongs. And I said this against Pittsburgh this week too. It was one of these games. Like if we beat the Bengals this week and we got another primetime Sunday night football game in Baltimore against the number 1 team in the AFC right now, that is a statement game. You handle the Patriots, you win. Now you're rolling to Green Bay with momentum, and things would feel a lot differently. But it's
you beat the Patriots, you have the number 1 seed, and you roll into the playoffs. Who are you thinking like can beat you?
Nobody. That's what I'm trying to say.
You know
and honestly, the Ravens roster is that good. They just have not been playing that well. And I mean, there's holes. I'm not saying there's not holes. We can get into some of these here. We got a super chat real quick. Gold Lion, appreciate you with the 2. Fa'alele will be the fall of Lamar winning a Super Bowl. And then he also sent another one. Appreciate you, man. John said the O-line played good. Time for him to go. The O-line is the biggest concern, I think, and not being able to get a nice rush. I think we were generating a lot of good pressure prior to these division games, and then we have not been able to get home. I mean, Rodgers was chilling, and no sacks.
It was frustrating to hear that part of the interview there, Gold Lion, because it almost feels like he can't say, Falele had a really bad game. Daniel had a bad game. But you know what? He kind of glosses over it, and he's like, "Well, he had a couple of plays he would want back, but all players do." But it's not just this game; it's been all season where Daniel Falele has
last season
that he's been allowing Lamar Jackson to literally get knocked around. Like that's what it almost feels like I really do love John Harbaugh. As a person and as a coach, he brought a championship here. I love his mentality. But what I don't like right now is his lack of what it feels like to me. Hey, Falele had a bad game. And it almost feels like because he's been defending him for so long that he can't say, he had a rough one. Because the media and all the fans have been begging for a right guard change the entire season. And everyone sees it. They're like, well, what about Emory Jones at right guard? Like, why are you having him compete with Voorhees at left guard whenever Voorhees isn't the most obvious problem? It's obviously Daniel Falele.
They're both problems. But
and Harbaugh goes, well, it's kind of too much to have a rookie practice both positions, learn both positions his rookie season. Whoa, just have him focus on right guard, man.
And then he doesn't play this week.
Then
he saw no Emery, 0 snaps.
And he said he said, well, he didn't play any better.
I know.
I was like,
that's
what?
Frustrating.
What? Yeah. Like he got 11 snaps, right?
I think it was 16, but yeah, it wasn't a lot.
Snaps, yeah. And he had like one bad play.
Oh yeah, one holding call. There's definitely a defense of the original decisions. I believe that. Yeah, like we got Voorhees, we got Fa'alele. This is who we've decided to go with for 2 straight years, by the way, because Voorhees, I know McCary played most of the year last year. Voorhees won the starting job at the beginning of the season last year, and Fa'alele. So you made this choice, Chiefs game 2024, start of it. And then Voorhees got hurt. McCary ends up playing, pretty much the whole season. But we had very similar struggles with Fa'alele last year. And then this year, same thing. And I think both guards are a problem. It's not just Fa'alele. He gets most of the heat on the clips, but they're both not good, man. And like it's frustrating.
Major disappointment, man.
Yeah,
I was so excited about Voorhees. Like the dude,
I thought it was a steal.
It's supposed to be a 2nd round pick. Like spent all that time in the weight room studying in the off season when he was injured, and then he got some reps last year, right? And we're like, oh well, once he has a full off season, like he'll be good to go, right? And then just hasn't clicked for him. And a lot of people talking about the offensive line coaching. Not trying to call out Warhop, but he was like supposed to be a plug and play interim guy whenever Joe D passed and John Harbaugh decided to keep rolling with him. But the reality is it doesn't feel like the offensive line is coached well. And I just have to be honest, man, because it's not just the guard play. It doesn't feel like he's really helped Rosengarten to take a big step and help him develop.
Yeah, no step.
And it feels like Linderbaum has regressed a little bit. I know that's due to poor guard play next to him, but like you want to see your guy, at least your good guys, like at least maintain or take a step forward, especially the young ones like Linderbaum and Rosengarten. But everyone is playing worse, man.
No.
And we can't get, bro, I texted you, man. I said, bro, how many times have we run on 1st and goal and got stonewalled? Derrick Henry got absolutely stonewalled.
Yeah.
And then I saw Mina Kimes, I think it was Mina. She was like, I think the Ravens have a 0% success rate on 1st down on 1st and goal in the red zone. I'm like, thank you. Someone else noticed that. Like, they don't open up any holes for Henry, man.
No.
The interior offensive line. I don't know how Harbaugh said, well, they blocked well in the run game. They were getting after the guys.
He's defending. He's defending publicly. I mean, I would hope. We don't know this for sure. Who knows? Maybe he's absolutely delusional. I would hope that behind the scenes it is like aggressive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what you need to fix. You are not playing well. Like, this is what we need to do. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, you need to coach behind the scenes. I think Harbaugh rarely calls out people publicly. Dude, I've seen him, but
I get what you're saying, but he's straight up been like, yeah, it's not good enough before. Like, he'll
not
call
with
out
these guys, though.
Like, yeah, I know, man. And that's what's frustrating. I've seen him call out other players and say, yeah, that was unacceptable. It's got to be better. That was inexcusable. That wasn't good enough. I've seen him call out coaching, like Monken specifically.
Yeah.
Like this year with, that wasn't good. That was inexcusable. But
yeah.
So my theory is like, why would he, if he's just trying to save face for the public, like why would he do it for some people, not others? Do you think he actually just thinks the offensive line isn't that bad? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think he does believe that there's no better option right now on the roster. And also, I think he's defending the original decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want to, because by him saying this late, like, most likely, he's a free agent. I would be shocked if we re-sign him. Most likely, this is like the last 4 games, maybe into the playoffs, that we ever have him on this roster. Maybe Voorhees too. And like, I just think that it's so late in the decision. We're 2 years into this decision that he's not willing to be like, this was a bad move and we let it go on too long, and he's not playing up to his standards. So therefore, when he's asked the question, he kind of deflects it a little and just stays positive. You know what I mean? And I think it's to defend his original choice. I also wish there was some more accountability. I saw this from Kyle Goon after the game, because we've never heard from Fa'alele. And I know you don't give press conferences to linemen too often, but they speak to, like, Ronnie Stanley speaks to reporters in the locker room all the time.
Yeah.
So there was a crowd of reporters waiting for Fa'alele. But he wouldn't put his shirt on because if you don't have clothes on, you can't be interviewed just out of respect for privacy. So he nods to the reporters and walks off and is avoiding any accountability. Like, he can answer some of this himself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's frustrating, man. There's no direct accountability from the players saying, "Hey guys, I didn't play well enough today. I'm sorry. I'm going to get better and get after it next week versus Cincy." Like, that would have been to a lot of Ravens fans, hey, respect for like owning up and that you want to get better. Like, thanks for facing the music, right?
Yeah.
But there's no accountability there, and then there was no accountability from his head coach either that calls out. So to me, the only accountability is coming from his quarterback, Lamar Jackson, in the middle of the game, whenever one of the sideline reporters happened to catch a conversation where Lamar Jackson is ripping into Fa'alele, right? Am I getting that wrong? I thought I saw that report.
No, that's what she said on the sideline. There was like a little bit more details that leaked out to like this morning and throughout last night that were saying it was Fa'alele that came to Lamar. But regardless, yes, there was a heated exchange about Pittsburgh knows what we're doing and we need to be better. And it was between Zay, Lamar, and Fa'alele. Not sure if we know exactly who approached who or like who started it, but that sideline conversation happened, which is positive. I want to hear that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's good. Like you said, somebody's got to take accountability. And the offensive line play has been rough for 2 years now. Interior offensive line play. I'm not saying everyone's terrible, but like it's collapsing a lot of this offense and our ability to move the ball consistently, man. It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
We got a super chat from Jason Brown. Appreciate you. You never know what you have until it's gone. Mike McDonald. Thanks, EDC. Yeah, Mike was definitely one to keep around. I think a lot of us felt that way during it. I didn't think we would fire Harbaugh, but I definitely was like, I do not want to lose Mike. And like, however you can keep him, keep him. But
dude, nobody wanted to lose Mike, because I remember thinking Mike was like the guy that was like the Burrow solvent. Like, he figured out Burrow, and the games that Mike McDonald coached against Burrow, I don't think he ever had more than one passing touchdown or a passer rating over like 90. I don't think he ever went over 250 passing yards either. Like, go back and look at those games with Mike McDonald versus Joe Burrow. He really had a beat on Joe Burrow's strengths and weaknesses, how to bring pressure, how to bring unblocked pressure. I remember dudes hitting Burrow completely untouched.
That was all year. We had led the league in sacks with like no elite pass rusher.
It was great, man. He's so cerebral, like so smart. One of the smartest defensive football minds, and the way he's running the Seahawks over there with a quarterback like Sam Darnold, who most wouldn't consider to be a top 10 quarterback talent-wise, right? Not saying that he's not playing great football and he's having good numbers and a good system, but like pure talent-wise, most people wouldn't say he's a top 10 or top 5 quarterback. And look what he's doing over there in Seattle, man. And so yeah, the thing is like the Ravens were in such a weird spot where, the Baltimore Ravens just go to the AFC Championship and have a 12-5 record, right? They had maybe 13 wins, bro. They had the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
In the AFC Championship, right? 12 or 13 wins.
Hosting a playoff game.
A playoff
to go
game
to the Super Bowl.
Championship to go to the Super Bowl. Everything right there. It's like, how do you move on from Harbaugh right in that situation? But Mike McDonald was a massive reason why the Ravens were in that situation, in that circumstance, man.
100%.
But that it definitely hurts to see him go. Ryan, I don't think I've actually asked you, and maybe I don't I'm putting you on the spot here, but what are your overall thoughts on John Harbaugh with his future here with the Baltimore Ravens? A lot of people saying they're ready to move on. I know I texted you like, bro, this is something's got to change. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if we miss the playoffs, I honestly would be shocked if he's not, but it's all up to Steve, right? Like he's the only one that can make that decision. He's got to be ready for that type of massive change within the building. I don't think it happens in the season at all. So I'm on board. I've been on board for a few years. I'm just not like, I don't scream about it every single day because it's not going to happen during the season. And I'm still kind of just rooting for what we got right now. You know what I mean? I'm a fan at heart. So,
right. So you're obviously supportive of the Ravens and of John Harbaugh, and you want the best for the team. You want them to succeed. But if it was your choice as far as in future seasons, right? Because I agree. I don't think the Ravens, it wouldn't benefit them to do it in the middle of the season, right? But you would think moving forward, regardless of what happens this year, shy of the Ravens winning a Super Bowl, right?
That's the caveat. If we like just start wrecking teams and like go to the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl again, or make it that far, then I probably am going to feel different about it. I'll be like, wow, what a resilient team. We figured it out.
Right.
But no, other than that, if we miss the playoffs, if we're an early exit in the playoffs, I think there needs to be change 100%.
Yeah. It does feel like it's just gotten stagnant, man. I don't know how else to describe
it. It's the same issues. Like I just feel we're underprepared in a lot of moments. We're not like super intelligent. And I know Harbaugh, that's not necessarily Harbaugh's expertise, right? He's not like a prime X's and O's guy. He's not calling the offense or defense. He has his philosophies. He's mainly a leader and a CEO of coaches and men in the organization. That's mainly what he's done. He's been like putting things together. But when those puzzle pieces you put together don't lead to properly prepared teams and teams that are executing on a consistent basis, it has to fall back to the CEO then. Like you are in charge of all of this. You know what I mean? And I think that's the issue. So either we get a new CEO or we're gonna have to. I don't think the philosophy or a lot of the issues that we've been facing over the last decade are just gonna drastically change. We have a very talented roster, and I feel like we are not playing smart football. Rarely ever. It is a frustrating watch where it's like, man, like and you have faith in them because you've seen them perform at the highest of levels. The Ravens have been dominant, like have played incredible football. Maybe not as much this year, but just last year we had one of the best offenses in the history of the game. You know what I mean? And it's like you've seen it, but it only in doses, and we're not. And especially when the playoffs come around and we go against other well-coached teams, smart teams that play well. It shows, man. We always make the mistakes. We're turning the ball over. We're not getting turnovers. We're not just playing a simple, clean game. And sometimes that's all you need to do to go out there and get a win is just play smart football. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to take a bunch of risks. You don't have, it just seems like we're always creating these insane scenarios that we can't fight through.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat saying Spagnuolo.
Is he available?
Well, I don't know if he would. I mean, I don't know what his dreams and his goals
are. That's what I'm wondering, because he's had to be available now for years, and he's not even like close to getting head coach jobs. So it makes me feel like he's like just staying.
But what I'm also saying is there hasn't been, like, with a lot of head coaching jobs that open, it's not under great ownership necessarily or great roster and general management, right? But maybe if the right opportunity, like a team like the Baltimore Ravens, where they because people know, like, the Ravens typically keep their head coach for a long time. Like, if they have success, they'll let them have a little rebuild. They won't fire you right off the rip, right? Like, we had, who was before Harbaugh that I'm blanking on?
Brian
Billick for a good minute, right?
Yeah, like a decade.
A decade. And then John Harbaugh for what? 2 decades almost.
18 years. Yeah.
18 years. Yeah. So what I'm saying is like, maybe if Spagnuolo saw, like, well, I can go to an organization that drafts well and, like, has good ownership, and they'll keep me around for a while. Like he I don't know. But
no, I see what you're
do
saying.
like
Yeah.
he's a genius defensive mind, man. He's given issues to every elite quarterback in the league, man, including Lamar Jackson. He's had Lamar Jackson's number. Let's just be real. Like he has absolutely put Lamar Jackson in a cage. Even this season, when the Ravens offense was rolling in the beginning of the year, they had little success against the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at it. It would definitely lift the defense for sure. Hold on. This is a good point too. This is a dream job for anybody.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if it's available, this is the top place because usually the teams that have coach vacancies are terrible. And it's like, oh, you got to come in here and
it's like a new head coach every 3 years.
Yeah, you're probably going to suck, but you got to figure out a way to rebuild it. I don't think we're in any type of rebuild mode. Now we will have a bunch of off-season turnover. There's no doubt about that. Like I think that this is a big change of a season, that's going to happen from last year. Like we didn't have as much turnover. I mean, I guess we signed Matabike in the offseason, extended Henry. We just extended Andrews. So that's not going to be the tight end decision. We didn't even talk about that. What's your thoughts on like the Andrews extension now, and then also how that impacts the offseason with Likely and Kohler, since we're paying Andrews $13 million. Now that deal is a short-term deal. I know it's 3 years, but we're really only on the hook for 1, maybe 2. But what's your overall thoughts on that and how it impacts the offseason?
I'll be honest, man, I don't like it. I don't like it, man. Like it's not terrible because it's only 2 years guaranteed, right? So you're not locked up for 3 years. And it's not like he's making top 5 tight end money anymore. Like the Kittles and the McBrides are making like 19 million per year. So he's pretty well below that mark. But I do like Mark. Like I literally have his signed jersey right back here. And he's the Ravens all-time reception leader, touchdown leader, receiving yards leader, right? So he's a legend in my opinion. But to me, Isaiah Likely was the clear future at the tight end position. And I would have rather paid Isaiah Likely a little bit more than the Ravens were comfortable paying than have Mark Andrews back and see Likely walk. Because I think Likely as a tight end 1, like getting those type of reps, would be in that 800 to 1,000 yard Pro Bowl type of tight end, man. You see it. You see the talent. He's so explosive, breaks tackles. He's clutch. Like he was the guy that scored the touchdown when we needed it against Pittsburgh to possibly put us in the playoffs, right? Even though they took it away, he was still the guy that stepped up and made that play in the crunch time. Didn't he have a big score against the Bengals last week too?
Almost. Yeah,
right.
He fumbled. Yeah.
Right. My trauma just deleted that.
He had one. He had a touchdown in this Steelers game, and then almost, or basically a second one. But yeah.
So it could have been 3 touchdowns, right, within the last 2 weeks. And then he was the dude that showed up in the playoffs on the road in Buffalo, scored that awesome, massive touchdown.
Yeah, I don't want to lose him. I don't
want to either, man. I know. I'll tell you what. My friend's a Bengals fan, and he said if he hits the market, I would love to have Isaiah Likely. I'm like, dude, if the Bengals sign Isaiah Likely, I will actually be like really upset, man. Because
or like the Chiefs replacing Kelsey or something like crazy. Yeah,
he's a weapon, and he's only 26 years old, man. He's only 26 years old.
Is there a scenario where we could keep him though for a year, or is it just like writings on the wall? This is done.
I think the rumors were right is that he wanted like top tight end money
before the injury in this year, though. I don't know what that market necessarily warrants. Like I highly doubt he's going out and getting 19 million.
Yeah.
Can he get what Mark got? Probably like around there. Yeah.
My only thoughts is like, maybe the Ravens and their agent were already trying to work something out, and they weren't close. That was my only thought, is that they weren't even close. So they said, all right, we're going to go to Mark. And if we can't make something work, because I just don't see them paying 2 tight ends like
I
above
thought
10
that, but I
million.
also think it's such a luxury to have both. And I'm like, man,
know.
it to me, I think the Ravens would still be very open to paying him. It's just is likely now with knowing Mark's here for another 2 years, let's say, is likely just like, dude, I need more opportunity. Like, I'm not,
Yeah.
even if you guys are paying fair market value for me, I'm going to freaking Carolina, wherever. Like, I
Yeah,
need
where he
to be
can
the
get
guy
100
somewhere.
targets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my fear. But I think the Ravens would want to pay him still. And we do have, depending on this Matabike situation, is very, very unknown still. And it gets weirder by the day, honestly. But
Yeah.
like, we do have quite a bit of cap and we do have a lot of people to pay. But I think we're sitting at like 47 million available in the offseason without a Lamar extension. With a Lamar extension, we can max clear 40 more million. That's $80 million in cap. The Ravens do have some flexibility, and the Mark contract they can get out of. I don't even think there's dead money on the second year, or if there is, there's more cap savings than dead money. So the first year he's definitely here for sure. But like 2 years from now, we could get out of the Mark deal. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, I think they might want to keep both these guys. Like but I agree with you. I want Likely.
They could tag him.
That's like 16 million though, 15 point something. That's higher than Mark.
Is it?
But yeah, 1 year, and you can't. The problem with tagging is it is. It's like 15 points. It's the top 5 average, so it's like 19, 19. You know what I mean? It's like 15 point something. And the problem with tagging is I only think it's beneficial to buy you some time because you can't then manipulate those numbers. You can't move them. There's no like void year on a tag.
It's just on the books.
Yeah, it's just boom, 15 million on the books. Mark's cap hits like 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Came down to it, man, I would still tag him for 15.
Just for that year?
Yeah, I would have paid him 15 million a year on a big contract. Yeah. Like that's how I feel about Likely. I know some people don't feel that way, but in my opinion, like Likely's wide receiver too. Like that's his role. Like when he's out there in the slot, dude, he's a problem, man.
Yeah.
So like to me, like Flowers is the top target in the offense right now, and Likely has been turning into that number 2. And you'll see it, bro. I think Likely's going to have a monster game against Cincy on Sunday. And I think he's going to, if the Ravens are moving and grooving, he's going to be a big part of it, man. He does. Yeah. That Likely has the clutch gene. Yeah. Like he does. He shows up in the big time moments.
He's been the last few weeks. I know it hasn't exactly worked out. Like obviously the Bengals fumbles so unfortunate, but like he made that play and like he's been involved. He should have had 2 touchdowns versus Pitt this week. I think he's definitely more involved in the offense right now than Mark is. I mean, Mark wasn't really involved at all yesterday. He blocked touchdown to Hopkins on the 4th down. I don't know if you saw like Lamar was actually throwing to Hopkins who was open in the back, but Mark's like diving in the way. I'm like, no.
Yeah. And it's like you feel for Mark there because he doesn't know.
He doesn't know Hopkins is there. Right.
Yeah. So he's just trying to make a play. You know, I've seen him make those catches before, but Mark, I don't want to. I like Mark. It's just he hasn't been a legit, like, I remember in 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, Mark Andrews had 1,400 yards.
Yeah.
Nuts. 22 even in 23, I'm thinking Mark Andrews is going to get anywhere from 50 to 100 yards a game. He's going to be a problem. Like defenses have to worry and game plan for Mark Andrews. But I don't think he's no longer a guy that defenses have to worry about.
Maybe in the red zone. But yeah, I get you. Yeah, he's a red zone threat mainly, 3rd down threat, short yardage threat. Likely he's a bigger all over the field threat all around. Yeah, I completely agree. I just holding out hope we can keep both though. I'm not mad at the Mark thing if we can keep both because I don't think the Mark extension's that long term. You know, most people are like, oh, he's here till 34. I'm like, nah, not on that deal. You know what I mean? They might extend him and lower it or something, but like I think they'll keep Mark around. But if they also keep Likely, we could still see that shift that we were thinking about happening this year. Likely got hurt. I think that stalled his volume early in the season. but
yeah,
we could still see that if we can keep Likely around. Maybe Likely plays even more next year, and Mark's situational. I don't know. I'm not mad at the Mark deal, but I am if it means Likely's gone.
Right. That's my thoughts too, man. 100%. You said it exactly how I would want to say it. Rebar, man, 21964 said, Mark's not that bad, just not what he was. That's my thoughts. Yeah, he's not bad. He's a solid tight end. He still makes plays. He's still
hard,
a red zone threat.
competitor.
He's competitive, good locker room guy, practices hard. Him and Lamar still do have some chemistry, but he's not old Mark, right?
Yeah.
He's not what he was. So
yep, I agree. What do we see here?
First, we got some good news on Keaton Mitchell.
Oh yeah. I don't think I didn't pull up a graphic, but yeah, no, Keaton's day to day. So yeah, that's phenomenal. I think he hurt his knee a little bit on that big run. He went out right after that.
Yeah, you could tell he slowed up on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't think he was getting caught. And
no,
then
he did. Like, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. I told my wife, he's gone. And then he got caught. But
yeah, but great news though. Day to day is awesome. And he was running phenomenal. The combo of him and Henry is everything we thought it would be. I obviously should have played Keaton earlier in the season, but it is what it is. We've been playing him, and I think it's working.
Me and you, we've been talking about Keaton all year.
Yeah, dude, I was like hyped on Keaton in the offseason.
I know we're just two dudes that like talk on a YouTube channel, but I know we're at the end of the bar, right? But it's almost like we know a little something.
Yeah, like, you watch a lot, you start to figure it out.
Keaton, I just don't. Sometimes that's the thing that's frustrating, man, about the coaching. Sometimes when something is so blatantly obvious, like there's times where I know what the Ravens are going to run. I'm like, yeah, we're going to have a run to the right here with Derrick Henry. So I know as just an average fan, I don't even do as much film study as I used to. Just an average fan that watches the games, I know if I can recognize that, defensive coordinators who spend their life on this and professional football players know some of the stuff that's going to happen. I texted you at one point in the game, and I said, dude, Derrick Henry had ran like multiple big chunk runs on a drive, and he had just picked up 5 yards on first down. And the Steelers aren't wanting none of Derrick Henry at this point. And it's 2nd and 5. And then they take Derrick Henry off the football field. I'm not even mad that they passed it. I'm not mad that they threw the ball to keep it, like we have playmakers in the passing game and Lamar can sling it. So I'm not mad. But I'm mad that after having so much success with Derrick Henry, then you just completely take the threat of him off the field. And then everyone knows when Rasheen Ali comes down out there that it's a pass. Like everybody knows.
Yeah. I mean, we gave him a couple, but yeah, I agree, man.
There's just a couple.
I think we got a super chat on that right here from Sheldon. Appreciate you. But yeah, he said hate seeing Ali out there on every third down. Yeah, it is predictable.
Yeah.
It is pretty. I mean, coaching's got to be better. That's game plan. You know what I mean? Like that's not on the players. The players could definitely execute better, but like we got to be more deceptive. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there needs to be more deception in this offense. We are predictable. That goes back to what you were saying earlier about the reporter on the sideline where Lamar and they're arguing and it's like they know what we're doing. Like that's got to be so frustrating to feel like the defense just has a leg up. Like you said, they know we're running right. And then boom, crash out, blow it up. And there was multiple times in that game yesterday, and we've seen this over the past few weeks since Lamar hasn't, obviously been fully healthy. He's not pulling as much on the read option, and I saw Watt just crash into Henry from the opposite edge over and over again, blowing it up. And I'm like, if Lamar could pull it, there's like 30 yards of wide open space. Like the whole field's open. I think he did in the second half a couple times, but it's as simple as that. Like we're so predictable that teams are blowing up the run game in a lot of situations because they just know it's going to Henry. And like we could just have a couple different alternative options, a little bit of deception, and have a lot more success. We can make things easier. We make it too hard on ourselves.
Yep. And then it's like the plays. I think of the one play where I thought Monken did a great job, set it up, where Derrick Henry was out there on a passing down and he leaked out to catch a little pass to the left. And he had like 30 yards. And Lamar just short arms him. And I'm like, bro, like that was set up really well. And then we don't execute on the player side. And there's other times where it's like the players are trying to execute and the coaching isn't put them in the best position. Like, when do we marry the two? And it's like, you've seen glimpses, like whenever, like there's no reason that with Derrick Henry, Keaton Mitchell, Lamar Jackson, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, and Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely, that teams should ever know what you're about to do. Like, there's no excuse for not being, for keeping defenses completely on their toes and off balance. Like, you literally have 2 Hall of Fame rushers in the same backfield and then tons of weapons that can catch the ball as well. Like, teams should be constantly off guard. And that's how it felt last year in 2024. That's why the Ravens literally had a historic offense. Is like, teams were off balance. They didn't know if the Ravens were going to run or pass or play action, or like they were constantly keeping. But this year, like, I think you made a point in our last stream that you said it's harder to keep them off balance whenever the offensive line is just so bad. Like, then the play callers start to get in their head, like, well, I don't know if I can call this because like this or that. And then you got the guards just giving up ridiculous sacks, negative plays, not opening up the stonewall runs where Derrick Henry gets hit at the line or behind the line. Like, those, if we just had a little bit better push from the interior, like, those could be 2, 3, or 4 yard gains.
Yeah. I think that's the reason we need more deception, is to hide some of the offensive line deficiencies. Like, the fact that we were successful last year, it was a little bit more creativity and it was working. There were still offensive line deficiencies, especially the guard play. But we kept guys on their toes, or teams on their toes, so much, and we were more deceptive. We ran even like a little bit more motion and stuff than we're seeing this year. I think we simplified things this year, but we're not good enough to play simple football. We're not. Our line, if we had like a dominant O-line, best line in the league, they could know what we're doing and they still wouldn't stop it. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that would be okay. We could get away with that. But the fact that our O-line is playing below average, guard play is bottom of the league, and you're not as deceptive, that's a combo for a struggling, inconsistent offense, which is what we're seeing week in and week out. It's not that the offense can't be great. That second half of Pittsburgh was great. We had 420 offensive yards. We ran for 217. It's not a bad day. Like, that's a good showing, but it's inconsistent. It's like a whole half of nothing. And then, we're rolling now. 4 straight scoring drives. Should be 5 with the Likely one. And it's not enough because you made it too freaking hard on yourself. You didn't play a complete game. So I just think, there's a lot of moving problems, man. And we got one more thing we didn't even talk about here. It's not a big deal, but then Cleveland officially suspended 3 games. At first, I thought this was like something new, but I guess it's from the incident in February. So he's serving his 3-game suspension. He's been a healthy scratch for a few weeks now, but he's officially serving his 3-game suspension.
Lucky for him, it has no impact on him as an actual football player.
No.
Like, if he would have been, playing at this point in the season, he'd have been like, man, this sucks. But he's been a healthy scratch, dude.
Yeah, 100%. This is a interesting comment here. When did the Ravens' philosophy become invest in everything else besides the trenches? And it has been that, I think, since Lamar. We tried to go cheap on the O-line, and we should have not done that. We should have done the opposite. You need to build up the trenches, especially later. You know what I mean? Like, you could probably do with one less weapon and have a strong offensive line with a Lamar Jackson, and not just think that Lamar is going to superhuman and the way out of everything, and we could just go with projects at guard. We're gonna draft a developmental right tackle with not a lot of football experience, and we're gonna move him to right guard, and we're gonna take a guy coming off injury in the 7th round and put him as our starting guard and just expect that we'll be able to make that work. And I don't even mind giving that a go, like initially. But what bothers me the most is we've never pivoted off of it. It's 2 straight years now. We are at the end of the second season of this same offensive line.
Yep. It's absolutely inexcusable. Like, in my opinion, like we talked about it earlier, man, John Harbaugh's, like you said, man, like he wants to, shift from any idea that could have been that he was wrong about the initial decision. That's what it feels like, a little bit of lack of humility there. To just say, we could have a change here.
Yeah, I ever wonder, like, in the offseason, because we don't hear from Eric DaCosta very much, and he's obviously the one who makes the roster decisions, or like the personnel decisions on the team, acquiring guys. I wonder if we'll hear from Eric in the offseason, if he'll ever admit, or even like years from now, where he would just say, hey, we failed in like building up the trenches for a couple years here, or the majority of Lamar's career, honestly. And because I heard him say that, I don't know if it was this offseason or last offseason, about getting like a true X. Did you catch that interview? And he was like, I failed in getting a dominant X, like a AJ Brown type player. Like, I failed acquiring one of those. They don't grow on trees, but I've done a bad job of getting one. I just wonder if we hear that transparency with like, hey, we tried to go this direction with the O-line and it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think being a general manager in the NFL has got to be really, really difficult, because like you can't, it's literally impossible for you to have every position group on your team be a strength. Like with a salary cap league, like you have to prioritize resources to certain spots.
Isn't that the most important spot, though, to protect your guy, your franchise guy?
I think so. But I think they thought they were getting away with some stuff. I think Lamar was hiding a lot of stuff.
Yep.
And, they kind of neglected it a little bit, or they thought, well, this will be enough, and then we'll have this plan. And then there was also some bad injury breaks there with the offensive line in some years. The Alejandro Villanueva left tackle thing was a big whiff. And then Ronnie Stanley had injuries, right? Macari's been a solid piece for us that we got as an undrafted guy, but we haven't had a lot of success with drafting offensive linemen lately. Besides Linderbaum, there's been a lot of guys that are not even on the roster now that have been drafted in that 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round range. So it's been really frustrating. The thing is if we're talking about different spots on the roster, I just now thought about like the comment that was made about DeAndre Hopkins. They were like, man, DeAndre didn't deserve this. Like, he thought he was coming to a winning team.
Yeah, Lamar said that, yeah.
Yeah. And he hasn't gotten a lot of targets. John Harbaugh said they wanted to get him more targets. But yeah, it sucks that it's like you have solid receivers like Zay Flowers, Bateman, and DeAndre Hopkins is a pretty solid group of receivers. But if you don't have time to get them the ball downfield or go through your reads, what's the point? You saw Lamar Jackson in 2019 and in 2024. Sorry, actually, he didn't win the MVP in 2024. Should have. But in 2019, the receiver group wasn't great, but the offensive line was.
Yeah, dude, Marshall Yonda at right guard.
Yeah. And Lamar Jackson was an absolute nightmare through the air and on the ground with that offensive line.
Yeah.
So, man, it'd be nice to build him back up.
I think we have to. I'm like, I said this in today's video, actually. I was like, there's a piece of me, I'm still obviously super tapped in and rooting for us for the rest of this year, but there's a piece of me that's like excited to rebuild that O-line. And in the offseason, they better. Like, if they just re-sign Fa'alele or something, where the fan base is going to burn down. But like, I just there's some excitement that there's still potential here to like right the course and have a dominant offensive line. And let's see Lamar Jackson behind a dominant offensive line again. Even Derrick Henry one more year. Like the opportunities in front of us. I'd rather sacrifice one other thing to build up the trenches with everything we got, with all resources in the offseason. Let's build up a great defensive line, get a pass rusher. Another one, I like Mike Green, and maybe we keep Draymond Jones too. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I think we need another piece there. And then all resources towards that offensive line, especially the interior, re-sign Linderbaum. Like, dude, it's brighter days are ahead if we can build up the trenches here. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a forever problem. Lamar's 28. Like, it's not a forever problem.
I agree, man. I think it's super cyclical, right? Like, you start to put resources and money and draft capital on a certain position, and it starts to be a strength. You're like, oh, this is nice. And then another position group starts to lack, and you're like, oh man, it would be nice like to be like this team where they have this dominant position group, right? Like, because for a while, I don't know if you remember, bro, but I guess, like, do you remember with the Wink Martindale era, whenever we had a pretty solid defensive line group for a minute there? Like, we had Michael Pierce, Brandon Williams, Matt Judon, Zadarius Smith, Terrell Suggs. Like, our defensive line was pretty nasty, and they were always able to stop the run. But our DBs, like, we constantly we couldn't trust our DBs, right? Like, do you remember the Wink Martindale era, like, there for a minute where like, we didn't want to play zone, or we didn't trust the DBs, and it was like a constant cornerback problem, and we were getting cooked by top receivers. But then now it's like our DB group is pretty good, man. You got Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, Marlon Humphrey, and you got this pretty Wiggins, pretty versatile. The Ravens have put a lot of capital there. They drafted Wiggins in the first round, Hamilton in the first round, Starks in the first round. And then now you're looking at the defensive line. You're saying, well, dude, we have no pressure. Like, Aaron Rodgers sits back there for 5 seconds, and then he finds DK Metcalf downfield, right? Like, he eventually, when you have that much time, is going to break loose. So it's weird to think about. I would like to do like a study, like something like a deep dive on like whether it's better to have a dominant front and an average secondary, or a dominant secondary and an average front, like, because it feels like the Ravens they made that shift to put resources in the secondary, and then now other parts of the roster are starting to suffer. But
yeah, no, I hear. I definitely hear what you're saying. You're probably going to suffer in some spot on the roster. I just am like a firm believer. I've always been that football is just won in the trenches. Like, I watched this Super Bowl game, the Chiefs Eagles, and like the Chiefs couldn't block the Eagles. Like, they lost that game because they couldn't block the Eagles, and like the Ravens have similar problems to that. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you can protect, if you can move bodies, if you can clear things out in the trenches, everything else gets way easier for the guys just running around. So I just wish we'd put everything we got into the trenches, especially offensive line, because I trust Lamar with everything, man. I know, maybe he hasn't been playing perfect in the last month since he's came back, but like, dude's fighting through injuries, still balled out against Pitt. And if you just protect him, and I just really believe that he's the best QB in the game. And
do you think he would have maybe had those 3 injuries if the offensive line was a little bit better this year?
Yeah, potentially not. He did get hurt in camp, though. Like, something happened at the end of camp. I don't remember if it was like 2 or 3 weeks prior to the season, but
there was a little scare there.
He got stepped on.
Yeah.
And I just don't think, even though he probably healed from that, if you've rolled an ankle or anything like that, it is like you're just like a one movement away from doing it again. You know what I mean? It's just like never as firm until you get like a whole months of rest. And I just feel like it's that in combination with the hamstring and everything else, like, it's just been a battle. But he's still playing good, man. He's playing good enough. If our offensive line was better, Lamar would still be Lamar for the most part. I don't think that he's the issue by any means. I don't. But let's get to this last super chat here. Sum up. From Elaine, appreciate the 10. Love you guys together, and Sarah E. Keep hope alive. Going to the Super Bowl. What a story we will have. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. And I mean, if you get rolling And I know this is
Anything's possible.
hopium. I know this is hopium, but like, let's not act like we got a terrible roster here. There's holes, but like, if you get rolling, it's not impossible. The top of the AFC is very different this year.
Yeah.
And you're going to New England, you're going to Denver, you're going to Jacksonville. You're like, these are teams that I could see if the Ravens have momentum beating in the playoffs. It's not unheard of. And
I'll say this,
be a great story.
You won't have to go to Buffalo, that's for sure. And you won't have to go to Kansas City.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go to Buffalo. You don't have to go to Kansas City. Why not? Can the Ravens just please play a little complimentary football? Can we just, do a little bit better on the offensive line? Can we not have 5 turnovers against the Cincinnati Bengals?
That's an outlier. I've been saying that.
Yeah.
that one game's an outlier. I'm not saying we're turnover proof, but like 5's crazy. But no, I agree, man.
Before that.
Yeah. I'd like to force some more turnovers on defense. We were doing a good job of that against the bad teams, but it seems like now that we're starting to play a little better teams with better quarterbacks, they're being smart, not giving us the ball. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, you got to go take it then.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, man, it would be an incredible story to overcome this type of resilience. And if you can get going after the season we've had, that is the type of mental toughness that can flip where you're like, nobody can do anything to us. Do you see what we just came over? We were 1-5. Right. We were 6-7. Like, the door was slammed. Everybody said it was over. And then you overcome something like that. That can build an insane amount of confidence and raise the foundation of like where you could fall to. So I just feel like we'd have a higher floor and be fighting for something else. But yeah, there's a lot of hopium in there. I'm optimistic. It's not. I'm not.
I agree. The AFC is just not that good this year. That's just the reality, man. That's just the reality.
No.
So, but yeah, thank you, Elaine, for the super.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. We're here regardless. It hasn't been smooth. Hasn't been the best season at all. But here we are, man. Every Monday. Delusion is off the charts. Yeah. I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan. I do know what's going on too. I'm not a delusional fan. It's just it's okay to have some optimism in there too, man. Like I don't like to only be negative. I will never be I told you in week 3 that we suck. and I haven't even been watching. I just told you, like you know what I mean? That's not me. Like I am gonna keep hope alive and also be critical. And
and we called out a lot of we broke down a lot of the issues. But what's crazy is
talk about the issues.
Despite of the issues, man, the Ravens still got robbed of that victory against the Steelers, and they would be sitting at 7-6 with the number 1 seed in the AFC North. And last week against the Bengals, 5 turnovers. The Isaiah Likely fumble right at the goal line. We had the Tez Walker missed touchdown opportunity. We could go down the list, right? But it's never as bad as you think it is. And it's never as good as you think it is either, right?
100%.
So I think me and Ryan are trying to keep a good, solid middle line here. But the reality is that, like, I'm not scared of the Patriots. Like, we may not beat them. We may have issues, but I'm just not. Like, and I'm not scared of the Jaguars. Like, yeah, we got issues, but I'm not scared of the Jaguars. Like, no one in the AFC is dominant right now. So what I'm saying and what Ryan's saying is, like, AFC is literally wide open this year. Now, if we're playing the best team in the NFC, if we did make it to the Super Bowl, like, that might be a different story.
Who's the top in the NFC? Is it the Packers right now? We play them in 3 weeks. Let's find out.
That's true, man. That's true. If we can dance with the Packers, But
after we beat New England in prime time in Baltimore on Sunday night, we're rolling into Green Bay and getting a dub.
Hey, you never know, man.
It's illusion.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson is pretty special. So anytime he's out there on the field, I think you got a chance.
100%. Yeah. We'll see how it plays out. We'll be here regardless. Monday night, 7:00. But we do appreciate all you guys, for real, for tuning in, for supporting our videos on each channel. Showing love throughout the season. It has not been an easy season. Nobody thought we'd be sitting here at 6-7. So we just appreciate you guys even being here, man. And
Yep,
you got
the
anything
ones
else?
that are here are real. So.
Yeah, 100%, man. Nah, we recognize that. Appreciate you guys. Anything else you want to say, Noah, before we hop off?
I don't think so, man.
Wait, did we miss a super chat?
Do we?
Oh yeah, we got a couple here. My fault. Yeah, good call out. TD Andrews deal was last straw for me to support Baltimore. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah, we talked about that for a little bit. I definitely don't mind Andrews being here, but if it means that we lose likely, then I don't love it. I don't love it.
Yeah.
So I got to see the offseason play out, though. I need to know who we're keeping, who did we lose, how's the money work out? Because Andrews' deal is not as big as people think. It is very movable. It's a low cap hit, and then we can get out of it. So it's not some crazy long-term deal. And I just know the Ravens are going to want to manipulate and keep their guys. So I really need to see how it all plays out. But I feel you at first reaction. It's like, man, we paid an older guy.
And it's like, it also, like you said, we got to see how it works out, because if the reality is if we see likely hit free agency and he gets paid like between 18 and 20 mil a year by a team that's looking for like a top tight end, and dude, he's put some really good tape out there. Let's just say that, especially on the primetime games like Kansas City last year and Buffalo playoffs, like dude's a dog. And I think teams recognize that if he was the top tight end, and he was getting more snaps and more targets, he would do even more damage. But my point is if he were to get paid like a monster deal, then you would say, okay, the Ravens obviously weren't going to be able to pay that type of money, weren't willing. And then there's only so much you can do, right, with what the market dictates. But like I said, I was 100% in favor of keeping Likely over Andrews if you had to pick between the two. And like Ryan said, if it means Likely doesn't get to come back, that's going to hurt. But yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. And then Ravens Flock, my fault. We didn't even see these super chats. Appreciate you with the 2 as well. You think Marlon is a cap casualty in 2026, $26 million? I do.
Yeah, 26 is too big for the type of performance.
And it's his last year. He's also aging. That's top corner money. Now
that's also like top receiver money, bro. And we need to pay Flowers. Flowers is going to be money.
That's what I mean. I could definitely see Marlon being a cap casualty. Not to say that it wouldn't be somewhat of a loss. I do think he's an asset to our team, but probably not for $26 million at his age. And he's been getting banged up, every couple games, it feels like, for a few years now, or just more often than he was. I wouldn't be shocked if he's a cap casualty, but I like Marlon. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I think the Ravens have a lot of respect for Marlon, and it's mutual. And I think my thoughts on the matter would probably be the Ravens would approach Marlon and say, hey, we can do like a 1-year extension and lower this cap hit to, like 13 to 15 or somewhere in that range, and work something out, like have him lower that hit. And otherwise, if he thinks he can get more money on the market, I think he's probably gone.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Those conversations probably definitely be had, but I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if we move on.
Yeah,
but then
that's a really good point there, Ravens Flock.
Yeah. No, appreciate you guys. Sorry, missed those. But yeah. Anything else, man? We should hop off.
No, I think that's it, man. But massive game against the Bengals on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like we said, man, you got to win it. You got to find a way to win. If the Ravens lose to the Bengals, I might say, man, we're officially cooked.
Probably are.
Officially 165 degrees, unless the Steelers also lost to the Dolphins. But even then, you got to start winning at some point, right? Like, you got to get some momentum, like you said. So Marlo to the Jets.
Yeah, Brandon Stevens' path.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the Steelers. That's lately who's been going. Everybody on the Ravens is heading over to Pittsburgh. Got Chuck Clark, Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison. But
dude, Derrick Henry absolutely laid out.
Yeah, it's like great when everyone's like, give him the ball, and then we give him the ball, and then it's just like he's out the game.
Yeah, and Malik Harrison is a big dude, big boy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Did Owe just get a sack or something? Where was this in Baltimore? Owe, the Chargers are playing right now. I don't know. I just said. I think it's Eagles Chargers tonight. We're hopping off, but I didn't know why they would say that if he didn't. Probably did.
Yeah, probably did.
All right, guys. Appreciate you as always for tuning in, and we will see you throughout the week on our channels, and then go live again next Monday. Hopefully, celebrating a win, pulling out the purple shades. No, we got to get those going, bro. It's no momentum.
They are still here, in case you guys were wondering, but we gotta wait for the right occasion.
Yeah, 100%.
You're wearing purple shades after a divisional loss, just no way.
No, hell no. Yeah, no way. But all right, guys, appreciate you. Have a beautiful rest of your night, and we'll see you next week.